Park Museum. I'm Heather, Samantha's behind the camera, and we decided we're going to bring Christmas to you because of this crazy time that we're living in. So we're doing old-fashioned baking. And today we're going to bring, or I'm going to try to make, and hopefully it works out, shortbread cookies. So I thought, as a start, before I start making it, that maybe we should learn a little bit of the history about shortbread cookies. And the shortbread begins with medieval biscuit bread. I did not know this, so everything's new to me as well. Any leftover dough from bread making was dried out in a low oven, and it hardened into a type of a rusk, which the word biscuit means twice cooked. And gradually the yeast in the bread was replaced by butter, and biscuit bread developed into shortbread. So it's all new to me as I'm reading this to you guys. Shortbread was actually a very expensive luxury, and for the ordinary people, of course you wouldn't have it all the time, so it would be a special treat just reserved for Christmas and New Year's, and also maybe birthdays and weddings. And the theory is it was traditional to break a decorated shortbread cake over the bride's head. So when they carried her through the new home, I guess it brought them good luck. And the custom of eating shortbread at New Year has its origin in the ancient pagan Yule cakes, which symbolizes the sun. In Scotland, it is still traditional, offered to first footers, which means New Year. So shortbread is also attributed to Mary, Queen of Scots, who in the medieval 16th century was said to be very fond of petticoat trails, a thin, crispy, buttery shortbread, and it was flavored with caraway seeds. Sorry about that. So, however, these traditional Scottish shortbread biscuits may in fact date back beyond the 12th century. The triangles fit together, and that is to represent pieces of fabric, which petticoats. So the name may have come from the word for the pattern, which was tally, and so the biscuits became known as petticoat trails. Something to think about. And instead of, I'm not using it, but if I was to make the traditional shortbread cookies, I would use ground rice. I'm not going to use that today. So I'm going to start. Hopefully this works out. It's my recipe, and I'm willing to share it with you guys. So what I'm going to do, because we had trouble today with our butter, it just would not soften. You just take a pound of butter, and I usually don't make it this way, but I want to soften the butter, because that is to me the main ingredient for a delicious shortbread cookies. I make them every year at Christmas time. My kids actually ask for it. When are you making shortbread cookies, Mom? Even though they're not at home anymore, they still ask for it. So I am going to make some noise, and I apologize. And I brought from home my vintage husband find, my blender. And actually they do work wonderful, not like the ones today. And I'm just going to work it. And it's still not the softest, but we'll make it work today. Might take a little longer than usual, but hey, that's the fun of baking. And if you don't get into a mess, then to me you're not doing it right. If you can see my kitchen at home, it looks like a bomb has went off. But like I say, more mess, more fun. I'm just going to try and get it off. And as you can see in the video, it is still, it's hard. But it seems to be working. Hoping I don't blow the motor. And if I do, which I'm not allowed to use, but if it happens, we went back and got some artifacts. And this one was a loan from Hazel Fossack. I have to admit, I did plug this in, and it purrs like a kitten, but unfortunately we're not allowed to use it. Which is a bummer because I really wanted to, but that's okay. And it is starting to finally get soft. It says in my recipe you're supposed to whip all the ingredients for 15 minutes. I do not do that. I don't have time to whip for 15 minutes. So I think that's pretty good, and I'm hoping this works because these beaters can really stick. I'm hoping this works. I'm not the cleanest, like I say, baker. I shouldn't say cleanest. I'm not like tidy or anything. I really get in there and I have fun with it. So to this, we're going to add 3 cups of flour. And of course I found this little guide too for sifting flour. But we're not going to use that today either. But I know my grandmother used to use it all the time. So like I said, 3 cups of flour. This is when it's going to get messy because it's going to fly everywhere. But that's okay. And 1 cup of icing sugar. That's it. It's a very, very simple recipe. My family loves it. I honestly don't know where I got the recipe from. I wish I did so I could tell you, but I don't. I'm just glad I found the recipe today because I went looking for it before I came to work. And I could not find my cookbook. So thank goodness my mother had the recipe. And you guys can laugh because it's really gonna fly. Or maybe not today, you never know. And you just, honestly, the recipe says to whip it for 15 minutes. I am not, well, I might have to today because the butter is still a little hard. I usually use my KitchenAid mixer, but today I thought since this is a museum, and we have artifacts and all that fun stuff, why not bring the old vintage? It's coming, slowly but surely. We're back. It's whipped. I'm going to show you like this. And if you want to even whip it longer, feel free to do it. But I don't, because I think it's good. So I'm going to get my cookie sheet. I don't know if you can see the box here. It was handed down. It's from my grandmother. And she used to make these for my father at Christmas time. And I have the privilege of now making it also for my dad and for my family. So when it comes out of here, it's going to look like a poinsettia. They're beautiful, I think anyway. And then all I'm going to do, and this does get messy as well. It's always the first I should say, batch that I do it. Yeah, it doesn't work. So like I say, bear with me. You might have to try this a few times. And you just fill it up. And sometimes what I do is I'll do a practice one on a plate before I transfer it onto the cookie sheet. We take this part, take it down, and it's supposed to snap in. And sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. And if anybody who knows me, yeah. I'm just going to do a trial run on this one just to make sure. It's still pretty stiff. It's too stiff. Of course it is, right? Why wouldn't it be? So that means I have to whip it a little bit longer. press some on the cookie sheet. And I will admit, the first time, or the first bunch that you do that's full of dough, it's going to be a bit of an effort to bring it out of the cookie press. The more you work with this dough, the better it gets. So here we go. We'll see if it works. And you just press it out till you figure, and we have to shake it sometimes, the first one. And the first one might be a little off, but that's okay, it still will work. And see how it's easier getting out? And then we just keep going till I figure we have to add, which I do, more dough. So I know it's gonna take a while to do because I got like 4 out of that. But as you can tell with the batter, we will get a full cookie sheet and then some. So you're just going to do this till the cookie sheet is full. So a few more on the cookie sheet, and I'll show you what they look like. I did get it good. And if they fall off, I apologize. But that's what they're going to look like when they go into the oven. So I took them out of the oven at 350 for 8 to 10 minutes. They have cooled. And so what I usually do to make them really look like flowers is I buy red gel decorating gel, or whatever you want to call it. And I just put a little dab right in the center, just to make it look more like a flower. It's just me, you do not have to do this. You can use any color you want. Red is my favorite color. You can ask anybody in town, they'd probably know. And you don't need a lot, just enough to make it look like a flower. And I'm going to tilt this a little bit, or I might even pick up one and hope and pray it does not fall apart, which can happen. So I'm going to try to find the prettiest one. Here we go. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it'll look like a poinsettia. And those are shortbread cookies. Hope you enjoyed it. I sure did, and we'll see you next time with our next cooking show. Have a great day.